Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you the latest news regarding Paul Pogba, also going to be giving you the latest news on Jude Bellingham, and also there is lots of other things to talk about on this video. So I am going to be starting with Paul Pogba. So Manchester United are going to sell Paul Pogba this summer according to recent reports, and reportedly we are willing to accept £100 million for him. So we have slashed around £80 million off his asking price, because last summer Manchester United wanted around £180 million for Paul Pogba. Now Paul Pogba's agent Mini Raiola of course has been talking. He basically said he wants to take a great footballer to Real Madrid this summer. And he also said, he's having a complicated time at Manchester United. But Mini Raiola still insists that he's focusing on Manchester United at the moment, and does believe from his own perception that, Pogba will play again for the football club before he does leave in the summer. Now, don't forget, like I updated you this morning, reports came out yesterday saying that Paul Pogba was back in training. And this had actually fueled speculation up. He was training with a Juventus shirt on, and he had Matuidi on the back of his shirt. The main explanation for that is because he was paying tribute to Matuidi, because don't forget recently he had been tested positive for coronavirus. I think he was actually training alongside Victor Lindelof was Paul Pogba. Obviously, reports have also been coming out as well. I just want to put into the equation saying that, Man United will trigger that 1-year extension on his contract to stop that £100 million valuation from going down. So we are willing to accept £100 million for him this summer. And this is actually stemming from quite a few media outlets, but I actually read it in The Sun. But, don't forget, The Sun isn't too reliable. But obviously, like I updated you not too long ago, obviously, Solskjaer did say after our 5-0 win against Lask that Paul Pogba would have remained at the football club for next season. He basically reiterated what Paul Pogba had said last week, was it? Because Paul Pogba did say he was interested in staying at Manchester United, and he did say he was interested in extending his contract at the football club, because at the moment Paul Pogba's got 2 years left on his contract. Well, it's a year with an option of a further year. And he based I think the main explanation why he did say Paul Pogba why he wanted to stay at Manchester United, because he believes he can form a partnership with Bruno Fernandes, because Paul Pogba is aware of the impacts that Bruno Fernandes is making, because Bruno Fernandes has enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. But a lot of people believe that since Paul Pogba did rejoin the club from Juventus back in 2016, basically they believe he hasn't played enough. And obviously his appearances have been limited this season as Paul Pogba's. Paul Pogba has only played 8 times this season for Manchester United due to his injuries. The last time he played was on Boxing Day in our 4-1 win against Newcastle. And the last time he started from the start was back in September. So yeah, like I mentioned, his appearances have been limited. Manchester United, of course, did pay £89 million for him. So as it stands at the moment, Paul Pogba is our most expensive signing, but it's very imperative that we do get more than what we paid for him. It'll also free up our wage bill a lot, because obviously analysing it, Paul Pogba is on around 290 grand a week at the football club. Don't forget, recently Paul Pogba's had some personal coaching with Michael Carrick, so this is what it had basically said. But Pogba is 27 years of age. He has still got a lot of development in him. So I think, his likely destination is Real Madrid, just like it was last summer, because he wanted to go to Real Madrid last summer, because he did say he wanted to leave Man United. He was seeking for a new challenge. There's also still a lot of rumours emerging out saying that he could make a return to Juventus, because Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years in Turin. Obviously, PSG have been in for him. Barcelona have been in for Paul Pogba in the past. But now these stories are totally comparison to the ones that was coming out last week, because last week it was looking very, very likely he would have been staying at the football club, would Paul Pogba. But a lot of United fans have got different perceptions on Pogba. Some United fans would be determined to keep him, and some United fans would let Paul Pogba go. Because, even when he does come back, he's probably not guaranteed to play regularly as Paul Pogba, unless we drop either Fred McTominay or Matic. And there's no main explanation why we would drop them, because I think that trio have done really, really well in our midfield. But, since he rejoined the club, Paul Pogba from Juventus back in 2016, he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, and we just need to get his future resolved so it can end his long-running transfer saga. So, yeah, if recent reports are to be believed, Manchester United are going to get rid of him in the summer. But, Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, has been working on getting Paul Pogba's transfer away from Man United completed at least for the last couple of years. He did it when we had Jose Mourinho, because obviously Paul Pogba endured a very difficult relationship with Jose Mourinho on that. But Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes when Jose Mourinho left the football club. But, Mini Raiola, like I mentioned, he was talking about, he's got good relations with Real Madrid. So could go to Madrid or will make a return to Turin. So it's looking likely now that Pogba will be leaving Manchester United in the summer. But I just want to confirm, he has been back in training, which is very, very good news. But he will definitely play again for the football club, I should presume, before he does leave. So that's the latest news on Paul Pogba. And now I want to give you the latest news on Jude Bellingham from Birmingham. Now, I've been reading reports earlier on today, and it reportedly says Manchester United have blown Borussia Dortmund out of the water, because reportedly Manchester United have offered Jude Bellingham a contract worth around £100,000 a week to convince him to come to Manchester United and turn down Borussia Dortmund. Now, as you all know, he's a priority target for Man United in the summer, and Man United have made an obsession of the idea of signing Jude Bellingham this summer. But, a number of clubs have expressed their interest in him, Man United, Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich and Chelsea, So there's up to 4 clubs that have expressed their interest in Jude Bellingham. Now, he is set to cost in the excess of around £30 million. As you all know, reports were coming out yesterday saying that, Bellingham had allegedly turned down Man United, he'd turned down Chelsea, and he turned down Bayern Munich, because reportedly he had accepted a deal to join Borussia Dortmund in the summer. But, it did say recently, that Borussia Dortmund had agreed terms with the player. Now, Jude Bellingham, has been a revelation this season for Birmingham City. He's done really, really well as Jude Bellingham this season for Birmingham City. It's only his first season in the senior squad. Don't forget, he became the youngest player to represent Birmingham. He made his senior debut at the age of 16 years and 38 days, did Jude Bellingham. And I think he's played around 35 games in all competitions this season. Don't forget, Jude Bellingham has not yet signed his professional contract. I think he's expected to sign it this summer when he does turn 17, because he's 16 years of age at the moment. His current salary at the moment in Jude Bellingham's is around £145 a week and that. But like I did mention, I don't think he's at the elite level as yet. I think he needs at least another season in the Championship from my own perception, because I don't think he's got the minerals to come and succeed in the Premier League as yet. But up until this point, Jude Bellingham has spent the entirety of his career with Birmingham. Obviously, risen up their youth academy. He's been a Birmingham City player since the age of 8, so he's been at Birmingham now in total for around 8 years. I think he's predominantly number 10, but you can also put him on the right-hand side. So that's the latest news regarding him. So Man United have reportedly offered him around £100,000 a week, and we're willing to pay around £30 million to him. Well, on the other hand, if he was given another season at Birmingham and he replicated what he's done this season, then obviously, he would be probably worth more than £30 million, would the player. But a number of clubs have expressed their interest in Jude Bellingham. So he's one player on Manchester United's agenda. So now I am going to give you the news. I'm going to give you the news now. It's just been confirmed not too long ago that all Premier League fixtures and all English football's suspension has extended until April the 30th, the earliest. And this has been confirmed today by the EFL, the FA and the Premier League. They've all confirmed this, because like I updated you this morning, Premier League clubs held an emergency meeting to establish plans for the remainder of the season. Now, they have come to a decision. The suspension has been extended until the 30th of April due to the coronavirus. I think, the season probably, will resume. Don't forget, it's extended indefinitely. It's extended indefinitely, like they have confirmed. But obviously, before this meeting, took place, the season, was suspended until April the 3rd. But obviously, the coronavirus is getting much worse. So this is why, the suspension has been extended until April the 30th. Now, obviously, UEFA, they did, say that they want all Premier League fixtures and they want all domestic club competitions to be completed by the 30th of June. But I still believe the season will resume. They're basically, waiting until this coronavirus disappears, because you've got the likes of Italy in lockdown, France is in lockdown, and a few other countries are in lockdown. Maybe even Britain, could become in lockdown with this disease and that. But, it's very, very frustrating. But like I mentioned, public health is more of a priority than football. But yeah, it's been extended until the 30th of April. And of course, UEFA, did suspend the Euro 2020 until the summer of 2021. So, seasons can be completed and that. But, I'm very, very annoyed about this, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, the UEFA president, Alexander Seferin, don't forget he came out yesterday and said if the season is to be axed, Liverpool would not be crowned Premier League champions. Now, I think if the season was to be axed, I still think Liverpool would get awarded the Premier League. Obviously, Liverpool are 25 points clear of Man City. They only need 2 wins, to clinch their first ever Premier League title and to end their 30-year drought, do Liverpool and that. And Liverpool will be very, very infuriated if they are denied the title. But if the season isn't to resume, but I think it will anyway, but if it isn't to resume, it will change the context of a lot of the leagues. Maybe Liverpool won't get the Premier League, relegation may be scrapped. Leeds won't win the Championship, West Brom won't get promoted, there will be no winners in League 1, there will be no winners in League 2. Don't forget, there's also been a lot of rumours saying that, there could be 22 teams in the Premier League next season. This is controversial, plans doesn't mean it'll happen, but there could be 22 teams in the league next season, 5 teams relegated, and EFL Cup fixtures suspended, axed. So, it can increase Premier League fixtures and that. So, yeah, it has been suspended until April the 30th, the earliest. Then probably, close to that date, they'll probably, schedule another meeting, to see if, then they can resume the season after the 30th of April and that. So, we've got weeks to wait until, we know what happens and that. But, yeah, I am very, very infuriated about this, to be quite honest with you and that. So, that is the latest news on that. Obviously, Man United, have got quite a few other players on their agenda. Obviously, I've been keeping you up to date of the news on Jack Grealish. Also, I've been keeping you up to date on the news regarding Jadon Sancho. And if we are to get Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish in the summer, that will cost us around £170 million or something like that. Add Jude Bellingham into the equation, that would cost us £200 million for 3 players. But Man United have got to make more investment this summer. Don't forget, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has recently come out and he's basically said he thinks Manchester United need around 3 signings this summer to become title contenders next season. And he's addressed the 3 areas in the squad, where he wants to strengthen up. Solskjaer's confirmed that he does want a centre forward. He's also confirmed that he does want a right winger, and he's also confirmed that he does want a central midfielder and that. But I do believe Manchester United this summer are going to spend a substantial amount on, bringing more players to the football club. Now, it remains uncertain whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window. I think he probably will be, if Manchester United can get qualification for the Champions League, then I think, he will be given another season at the football club. He will be given another season at the football club, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But I don't know, if the season isn't to resume, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer go at the end of the season? I don't know, to be quite honest with you. But like I mentioned, Solskjaer does deserve a lot of credit recently because, we are in a good vein of form. We are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. And this is our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. So yeah, this is our best vein of form. But he does deserve a lot of credit recently, does Solskjaer and that. And obviously, our players have been tested for coronavirus because, recently Solskjaer ordered our team to train as normal. But like I mentioned, these have all been suspended due to what happened to Arteta. He's the part of it because he got tested positive for coronavirus recently. A few players have been tested for it. And like I mentioned, it is a really, really bad disease and that. But revert back to what I said, it's good that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is making plans for the summer transfer window. Obviously, the Glazers have come out recently. Obviously, the Glazers have been at Manchester United since 2005. They've been here now 15 years. And obviously, they've come out and said that they're determined to back Solskjaer this summer. But a lot of United fans have had, a lot of doubts about the club's ownership this season. Obviously, Ed Woodward, he's got the same perception as the Glazers. He's determined to back Solskjaer this summer because don't forget, Ed Woodward came out a while back and he basically said he's laid the foundations for long-term success with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But for us to get, the right calibre players in, we've got to get qualification for the Champions League. But the question is, would we get qualification for the Champions League if the season wasn't to resume? Maybe they could go on the current standings as it stands now, because, we're sitting 5th in the Premier League at the moment, and we are, 3 points behind Chelsea. But 5th place is a Champions League spot, reflecting on Manchester City's ban from the Champions League for the next 2 seasons and that. But I'm hopeful that we can get qualification for the Champions League. Don't forget, we've got a chance of winning some trophies this season. The Europa League is a priority for us because, it's another route to Champions League qualification, the chance of getting some silverware on the board. Also, too, the FA Cup is a priority for us because that's a chance for us getting some silverware on the board. So put that into the equation. But, I'm not actually, too sure, by the way, how long Champions League games have been suspended for and how long Europa League games have been suspended for. I aren't too sure about that, to be quite honest with you. As far as I know, I don't think, UEFA have made a decision as yet and that. But we don't only need to see, like I mentioned, more incomings in the summer. We also need to get rid of players in the summer transfer window. I think, we're planning on getting rid of around 5 players this summer. And I think we're hoping to generate over £200 million for their departures. Now, I think, definitely Phil Jones will leave the football club because he's one problematic player at Manchester United. Phil Jones, of course, has been a long servant here. He's now into his 9th season at Manchester United. He's Phil Jones and he has enjoyed 8 years here. He has been here since the Alex Ferguson era as Phil Jones. Don't forget, reports came out a couple of days ago saying that Newcastle and West Ham have expressed their interest in the player. And it was a bad decision by the football club last season because we'd given Phil Jones a new long-term contract. But yeah, he's one player that Manchester United do need to get rid of, definitely. And he can't get in the team anyway because you've got Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first choice centre-halves. You've obviously got Bay and Tuanzebe that have just come back from injury that are our backups. And Luke Shaw's played as a centre-half quite a few times, even though he's predominantly a left-back. So, there's no point Phil Jones being there. I do expect Lingard and Pereira, I expect them two to be also moved on by Manchester United because they are 2 liabilities and they've initially lost their place in the team anyway, of Jesse Lingard and Andres Pereira. So yeah, probably around 4 or 5 players will go in the summer. There has been a lot of rumours about David De Gea possibly leaving Manchester United in the summer. It says not too long ago that Real Madrid were planning to put around the £70 million bid in for David De Gea. And I did say if David De Gea was to leave Manchester United, he would make a return back to Spain. Because don't forget, he began his career in Spain with Atletico Madrid. Did David De Gea and that? And obviously his relatives are from there. His girlfriend's even from Spain is David De Gea. So I think he'd go back to Spain. Obviously De Gea, has been at Man United since the Ferguson era. He did enjoy a difficult first season with the football club, did David De Gea. But since then, he's, mainly done well. I think he's enjoyed a very, very good career with Manchester United, but you've got to say De Gea's been a liability, at least in the last year and a half or so, reflecting on his calamitous mistakes. And De Gea, has received a lot of criticism for this. But De Gea is now into his 9th season at Manchester United. He has enjoyed 8 years here. But analysing it, you can say he's had a good 6.5 years out of the 8 years he's been here. I think he's nearly made 400 appearances in all competitions. Just over 300. He's just made over 300 appearances in the Premier League, and he's won everything here domestically as David De Gea. But possibly, could be moved on in the summer. So yeah, we could get £170 million if we get rid of Pogba and we get rid of David De Gea, and that would definitely, help us with our rebuilding process. But, a lot of players, have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. I think in total, Man United have got rid of around 9 senior players. Obviously, the players will let go on permanent transfers. We let Ashley Young go this year on a permanent transfer to Inter Milan. Ashley Young, of course, enjoyed 8.5 years at Manchester United, so he was a long-serving player for the club. Obviously, we let Darmian go on a permanent transfer last summer. He went to Parma, but we basically let him go for next to nothing because we paid £12.7 million for Darmian from Torino. He enjoyed 4 years with Man United, but now his appearances were totally limited and he couldn't get in the team, and this is the main explanation why Matteo Darmian left Manchester United. Obviously, we'll let Ander Herrera go on a permanent transfer, but we'll let him go on a free transfer. So that was what really infuriated me. And you can say, Man United possibly did make a mistake by getting rid of Ander Herrera because, he enjoyed 5 years at Man United, Herrera. He won a couple of awards, I think, at the club, reflect on his good performances. He did win some trophies with us. But I thought Herrera had a good 4 years out of the 5 years he was at Man United. But, we let his contract run down because the club weren't willing to meet his 200 grand a week wages he was demanding. So we just decided to let his contract run down and let him go to PSG. Obviously, Fellaini went on a permanent transfer. He went to China back in January 2019 after Fellaini enjoyed 6 years at Manchester United. We paid just over £27 million for him back under David Moyes, don't forget. And Lukaku, of course, went on a permanent transfer. He went to Inter Milan, last summer. And maybe you can say, we did make a mistake by getting rid of Romelu Lukaku. Because Lukaku, of course, did enjoy 2 years at Manchester United. He enjoyed 2 years at the club. He was exceptional in his first season, but he didn't really replicate that in his second season, did Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, he had to go in the end because he initially lost his place in the team, but Lukaku did score 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions during his time at Man United and that. But looking at it from a financial point of view, we would have been happy because we got £70-odd million for Lukaku. So we basically recruit what we paid for him from Everton because I think we paid around £75 million for him from Everton back in 2017 and that. So yeah, so they're the players that Man United let go on permanent transfers. Obviously, we let players go out on loan like I mentioned. Obviously, Rojo went out on loan to Estudiantes. I think, we're going to try and get rid of him on a permanent transfer this summer, when his loan spell ends with Estudiantes. So he did basically make a return to Argentina because he began his career in Argentina, did Marcus Rojo. He did, begin his career in Argentina and that. Obviously, he was at Sporting Lisbon and I think we paid around, 16-17 million for him from Lisbon. He enjoyed a good 5 or 6 years at Man United. He didn't play regular. Plus, he sustained quite a few injuries as a Man United player, but got to credit him, because his versatility was also very, very good. But I think we'll negotiate on getting rid of him on a permanent transfer. News about Chris Smalling as well. Obviously, Man United loaned Chris Smalling out to Roma last summer. And since his arrival on loan at Roma, I think he has been a revelation, to be fair, as Chris Smalling. And I think, from Roma are now analysing it. And, I think they're interested in, getting Chris Smalling on a permanent transfer. So maybe they will enter negotiations with us over getting him on a permanent transfer. But I think for Roma to convince Chris Smalling to stay, Roma need to qualify for the Champions League to convince him to stay. But actually, there's been Premier League clubs that have attracted interest in him, so he could make a return to the Premier League. Arsenal, Everton, Tottenham, Leicester, they've all been in for him. I think we've quoted out that we want around £25 million for Chris Smalling. Roma did pay around €3 million, was it, to get him on loan. But Smalling, there's a chance he could come back to United. Smalling did enjoy 9 years at the football club, so he was at the club for nearly a decade, was Chris Smalling. I think made over 200 appearances in the Premier League, did Chris Smalling. I think he's still under contract with Man United until 2022. It's Chris Smalling, but, he was a long-serving player, yes he was. And he was a very, very good centre-half, to be fair. Much better than Phil Jones, in my own opinion. And obviously, we got Chris Smalling from Fulham back in 2010 and obviously made his debut in our 3-1 win against Chelsea in the Community Shield back in 2010 and that. Is he 29 or something like that now? Chris Smalling. But yeah, that's the latest news on him. Of course, Man United loaned Alexis Sanchez out. Obviously, we're going to negotiate on, getting rid of him on a permanent transfer because Sanchez endured a difficult 18 months at Manchester United when he was here. And obviously, we've loaned Dean Henderson out, but I think Dean Henderson is expected to come back to Manchester United after his loan spell with Sheffield United. And this is another main explanation why David De Gea could leave, because David De Gea could lose his place in the team and Dean Henderson could become our number one goalkeeper. So yeah, a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, like I mentioned, but I've got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot of credit because he has, recommended 5 good players in so far. In 3 transfer windows, Solskjaer has spent £220 million. He's obviously bought James, Bissaka, Maguire, Bruno Fernandes and Odion Ighalo in, and they've all done exceptionally well, without a shadow of a doubt. Don't forget, Solskjaer recently made an admission saying that he could decide to make Odion Ighalo's transfer. He could decide to make Odion Ighalo's transfer permanent, reflecting on his good run of performances. So I think we'll try and do this in the summer. And I think even Ighalo's willing to take a pay cut to remain at Manchester United. But like I mentioned, he's an option of a different type of centre-forward is Odion Ighalo and that. But 4 goals in 3 starts, a couple of assists. So he has done really, really well. So I think we're going to negotiate on getting him on a permanent transfer this summer. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes, best player we've signed since the Alex Ferguson era, without a shadow of a doubt. Bruno Fernandes, as you all know, is making a difference in the team. His decision-making is good. His runs on and off the ball are good. He can't only score goals, he can also create good chances. He's being urged to build a team around Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, of course, has 3 goals. Is it 3 goals and 4 assists so far for the football club? So what a start he's had to his Manchester United career. But our win ratio has been absolutely superb since he came in, because prior to him coming in, our win ratio was just absolutely disastrous in that, but now it is totally comparison. But fair play, to Bruno Fernandes, because he's making the difference in the team. Like I said, Solskjaer is still under pressure, for Man United to keep this good run of form up, and some reports have still said that his position is under scrutiny, even though we've done really, really well recently. But don't forget, Man United have enjoyed their worst start to a Premier League season ever. So this is the worst we've ever been. So let's just put that into the equation and that. But like I mentioned, Solskjaer has now been at Manchester United over a year. Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, we've sat 3 managers since the Ferguson era, like I mentioned, and, it's not always the right solution, persistently sacking managers and that, because I said, there hasn't only been problems with the management this season, there's been a hell of a lot of problems, but like I mentioned, Moyes got sacked. Ferguson was at the fault in the first place for forever recommending David Moyes. In the main explanation why I recommended him in is because they were both Scottish. And under Moyes, I think we finished 7th, and that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League. Obviously, Louis van Gaal, we got rid of him after he enjoy like a year and a half so with Man United. He won the FA Cup, did, Louis van Gaal with the club. So we got some silverware under Van Gaal. And obviously, we got rid of Van Gaal, recommended Mourinho in. Mourinho enjoyed 2.5 years at Man United. He won the Europa League and League Cup in his first season, so he won 2 trophies with the club. But I think from my own perception, recommended Jose Mourinho in too late. Maybe we should have got him in after Alex Ferguson. But, the reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because, obviously, Mourinho had bad disputes with the board. He had bad disputes with the top players. And, this is why they basically, didn't work out under Jose Mourinho and that. But, yeah, and, Solskjaer replaced him in December 2018. And don't forget, Solskjaer was recently talking about how he had to overhaul Manchester United after Jose Mourinho left. Gotta say, probably Solskjaer understands his players more than Jose Mourinho's, but analysing the vast majority of these players, they are Jose Mourinho's anyway, so let's just put that into the equation. But like I mentioned, whether Solskjaer's managerial tenure at the club works out or not, we'll never forget what he's done for the club, because he was a great player for Man United for 11 years. But on the other hand, the longer he stays in as a manager, he's going to gain more managerial experience. So let's just put that into the equation. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.